Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Fandom United Live. Geo English. Happy first of the month, August 1st. We are just a few months away from the holiday season and Christmas rolling around. Time flies. Time flies indeed. I hope you guys are all doing well out there. I know it's been 2 weeks. Last week we missed a show because we were going to go and watch Deadpool and Wolverine. And so we took the week off and got to see it. Still wanting to see it twice. And maybe that hints towards how I felt about the movie. I can't wait to watch it again. Let me know in the chat how many times you've seen the movie. I'm curious. This is going to be one of those movies that I watch multiple times, which I don't do as much in my, late age. By the way, I just turned 34 a few days ago. So, yeah, I'm getting up there. But yeah, I mean, there was a time when I went to the movies so much and had all this time to spare and kill. And I would go watch movies multiple times. And now I think the last one I've seen more than once was actually Bad Boys Ride or Die. Yeah, I saw that movie twice. And the first showing for Bad Boys Ride or Die, I actually missed the first 10 minutes. So I was late. So catching it a second time, I was able to, watch the whole movie. And as you do with multiple viewings, you catch things that you missed the first time. And, for a fourth movie in that franchise, it was pretty damn good. So I can't wait to see Deadpool and Wolverine again. Hopefully catch either an IMAX screening or an XD. My initial screening was a standard screening, which still had the recliner seats, but the audience, for whatever reason, just wasn't as live as I'd hoped it would be. There were cameos in Deadpool and Wolverine that, longtime fans, geeked out about. But in my screening, there was maybe a few people. Didn't take away really the excitement or enjoyment I had from watching the movie, but still, it was an interesting observation. It's just like, huh, it didn't have quite the pop I had anticipated. Certainly not like No Way Home, But then again, you're talking about Spider-Man, the second most popular comic book character in the golden age, after, of course, Batman. Um, but yeah, I can't wait to watch it again. It's gonna be so much fun. And thank you for those who are in the chat right now. I appreciate you guys. We got Booze here, John Booze. We have Stardew here. Already talking about the movie. And guys, like the title says, it's a spoiler discussion. Actually, no, it's not in the title. Here, let me change that real quick. My bad. Deadpool and Wolverine spoiler talk. So if you were in the chat and you did not see Deadpool and Wolverine, I'm sorry if it's spoiled. Oops. When is the window to I can't edit the title. Well, if you're here, it's a spoiler discussion, okay? So be careful in the chat. Not people in the chat, go ahead, spoil away, but don't look at the chat if you haven't seen the movie. But what I was thinking was, how soon is too soon for spoiling a movie? One of the most craziest things I've seen, being a user on the X platform, formerly known as Twitter, was thank God I had a screening at 7 o'clock for Deadpool and Wolverine Thursday, the day before it was going to release, the July 26th release. And getting out of the theater, I checked Twitter, And there are a number of big sites that are posting videos from Comic-Con of the entire cast of Deadpool and Wolverine at Hall H during the presentation. And one by one, you know who they are. One by one, all these actors started coming on stage, and oh, I felt so bad for the people who did not watch the movie yet because they were being spoiled, and there was no warning at all. Shame on Variety, whoever the big profiles were that were sharing the videos with no warning. So many people were upset looking at the comments of these videos, like, why would you ruin the surprise? Like, they couldn't wait. Nobody could wait. They just had to talk about it. And shame on journalism nowadays. Okay, all these, I mean, we get enough. Like, I know Insider Geo here, and I play with the whole the whole title, and I look for rumors, I look for spoilers. I want to know things ahead of time, because for me it doesn't ruin the experience for me. Not everyone's the same way, but to go and be a credible source, a credible site, and have all this credibility here, and then to go and just put spoilers on your post, and to ruin the surprise for so many fans. It's just shameful. It's shameful. And it just goes to show you guys, like, just because the movie releases, like, doesn't mean you can just jump back on Twitter and everything is safe. No, if you have a showing that's hours after a big movie premieres, you stay off Twitter, you stay off social media until you watch the movie, because all these uh all these people on Twitter and X, all these sites, okay, these trades, the discipline's gone. They want the traffic. They want the engagement. They don't care anymore. And it's unfortunate. So I feel bad for all the fans out there who probably were standing in line waiting to go watch the movie, or getting their popcorn, or even sitting in a theater, and they just decided to open Twitter and check, and then they got the surprise ruined for them. I remember a buddy of mine, he's joining the stream here in a little bit, Jacob Barley. He was walking out of Avengers Endgame. I'll let him tell the story. And he overheard some moviegoers talking about the movie, and I forget what was spoiled there. Let me bring him in right now. It's been a while since he's been on the show. Jacob, how you doing, man? Um, we're talking
What's
about
up?
spoilers, and people on Twitter and in real life just having no discipline. They just they don't care. They'll talk about a movie, and they won't they won't care who hears or who reads it. Do you remember, was it Avengers Endgame where you were walking into the theater and somebody spoiled something for you, or was it Infinity War?
Hello, by the way. Hi
Yeah.
everyone.
Hi, I miss you, buddy.
And same. Yeah, I mean, there's been a few times where, because we usually don't go to the first showings, we'll go to like the later ones, and we'll always have like people coming out talking about it. I can't remember specifically me getting spoiled. There might have been something, but
Wasn't it with like Black Widow or Gamora or something like that? Or I don't know.
possibly. But I do know there was a time Brian and I were leaving Spider-Man No Way Home,
Hmm.
and so we went to the downtown IMAX, and there was a group of us. I can't remember if you were there or not. but I was walking back with Brian to our cars, and we were all the way down the street, like all the way down the street, not in front of the theater, not out walking out of the theater room, just not even in front of the building. We were down the street, like a couple blocks down, walking to our cars, and we were talking about the movie. And I was like, oh, I can't believe Green Goblin killed her. And some guy's walking by, and he's like, what the hell, man? I haven't seen it yet. I'm on my way to watch it right now. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And then we just kept walking. But I mean, I would never do that in front of the theater or like on the way, but I was just talking to Brian, right? And it's just, yeah. So you're never safe. And the thing is, I didn't mean to spoil it for that guy. I was just talking, but you gotta be careful if you're, but I didn't say who he killed or what, but still, I wouldn't want to know that going in either. But
now
it's
he's
everywhere.
gonna think about the whole movie up to that point. Okay, who dies and does it happen right now in this scene?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Man.
the two logical options would have been MJ or Aunt May, which obviously ended up being Aunt May.
Right. It wasn't Emma Stone. She wasn't in the movie, but maybe they didn't know that going in. They were like, man, like it could have been anybody. It could have been anybody. There was
could have been like a random character and a new character. Who knows?
I was surprised, and we'll get to how you're doing here in a second because it's been a while, but I was surprised, staying on topic here, how much they were able to keep things a secret from the audience and from people on social media, compared to No Way Home, which, people still weren't sure if Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield were in the movie. I mean, the signs were all there, right? But did you have any clue that the cameos that we saw that we're going to talk about here in a little bit, like that any of them were in the movie, aside from maybe Jennifer Garner, who was, reported?
So are we talking spoilers for Deadpool Wolverine?
Oh, it's a spoiler discussion, spoiler talk. Yeah. Okay. So
what do you mean? So what was the question? Were there any that I knew that I thought were going to come, or any that really surprised me? Or
I'm talking about how I'm grading how well Marvel kept the surprises a secret. And for you, like, was it a good grade that you're giving them? Like, did you know of any? Like, how was all that for you?
So, if I was a casual movie fan who didn't watch YouTube shows about movies, I would have probably known nothing other than what they've shown in the trailers. And I'm a full believer in this. If they put it in the trailer, it's fair game. That is not a spoiler.
X-23.
If the studio puts it in the trailer, it's not a spoiler. Because once that happens, you could see it in front of USA Today. You could see it on New York Times. Like
TV spot.
They'll have a thumbnail like you watch Entertainment Tonight. They'll be like, oh, the new Deadpool Wolverine trailer shows X-23. Like, once they put it in the trailer, it's not a spoiler. So, like, anything that was in the trailer is not a spoiler to me. So those don't count. But I do watch. Well, I watch the John Campea show every day. Like, I watch every episode of the John Campea show still. Best movie show of all time. And he talks about all the movie news, right? And so with that being said, he'd been talking about Jennifer Garner being in the movie for a year because she was rumored and she did an interview with Collider and she could not keep the smile off her face. Like, it was obvious.
Yeah.
Right. So there were a few things that like we kind of knew were coming, like that one. I think, but for the most part, like, I'll say I avoided at least 90% of the cameos. Like, I was able to not know about 90% of the cameos, which for someone who's on YouTube every day or Instagram every day, but I am on YouTube every day, and I was able to avoid those.
Yeah, there was some that I had forgot we're in the movie until I saw them, and I was like, oh my god, that's right. And then I lost my mind. And yeah, it was insane, dude. I can't wait to get into it and see which ones worked for you, which ones maybe didn't work, which ones you want to see return. You know, there's endless possibilities, but let's not waste any time. Bring in the other member here. We got Bartley and Barnes joining us this evening. What's going on, guys? How do I do this again? That way.
no.
There we go.
There we
Been a
go.
while.
Okay.
What's up, man?
What's up, guys?
Wow,
There
it's
we
been a while.
are,
Reunion.
man.
Virtually.
This is supposed to be how Deadpool felt when he finally had Wolverine on screen. It's just like, this feels like a long time coming right now. Yeah, Jacob, it's been a while, man. Welcome back. We've missed you, and of course, you couldn't miss this one. You know, we got the Deadpool and Wolverine discussion. We're gonna talk about Comic-Con and some big announcements and some healthy debate maybe.
Oh, do you mean something that I just found out last night? Dexter Resurrection.
I saw that. I thought about you right away.
And they're doing a Dexter prequel called I forget the name of it, but it's
I didn't know that.
It's a prequel-y name. I'm assuming they haven't canceled that. I think it comes out this year. There's a Dexter prequel with the new cast, young actor playing Dexter.
Really?
But it's in the I think it's in this universe. And then they're also doing Dexter Resurrection, which if you've seen Dexter New Blood, I'm like, how? But we'll see. But no, I know that's not the Comic-Con news we're talking about. But
Original Sin. Original Sin.
Yes, Dexter Original Sin is the prequel, and then Dexter Resurrection, which I'll take it. Hey, all my favorite characters and actors are coming back to play something. So
they got a younger person playing Dexter.
Yeah, so it's like when he was younger and he first started, because he always had like the serial killer or the murderous tendencies. So like when he was younger, he was trained by his father to like hunt and kill only bad people.
Right.
So it's kind of like how he did that when he was younger. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because in the Dexter series, he's like 40. So he did a lot of stuff before that.
Yeah. It's Miami, Florida? Is that?
Yeah, in Miami. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, but I saw the new series. I saw that. I thought of you right away.
Yeah, I didn't even know until yesterday because the only thing I saw from Comic-Con was the Marvel stuff. So that's really cool.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff that was overshadowed because of Marvel. You know, that was the talk of the town with the Deadpool and Wolverine panel, and then everything else that got announced.
I do have to. I have to. I think it's due. Bad friend. Swamped this weekend. It was both you guys. Happy birthdays, both you guys.
Thank you.
I got swamped with stuff this weekend. I was like,
birthday.
On Monday, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't message either one of them happy birthday.
It's okay, man.
Celebrate.
It would have been worse if you messaged one of us and not the other. If you missed both, then I'm cool with that.
That's right. Jacob and I both had our birthdays this past last week, and not as wild as previous years, at least for me. What about you, Jacob?
No, I literally did nothing, but I'm okay with that. I did take the day off from work, which
there you go. Good job.
That's
that is a gift.
Well, while we're on the topic, I did buy myself something. Let me show you guys really quick.
Oh, good. Okay.
Oh boy. What's he got here? What do you guess? It's a Dexter hot toy. No, it's the Red Ranger. Hang on. Let me put this guy on the big screen right here.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah.
Hey, there he is. The Red Ranger, Jason, right? Dude, that's dope, man.
Is he the one that passed away?
No, that's Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger.
So that they have a series called Lightning Collection, and they're like high-end collectibles, and it literally says 18 plus on the box, like they're not for kids. But that is the Red Ranger Power Sword from Power
wow.
Rangers. Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, I've been wanting to buy that for like 2 years. I had it in my Amazon like wish list, but I started a tradition for myself as I got older. I'm like, I'm gonna buy myself something that I really want on my birthday, and like I don't care
Yeah.
about it, like because you stop getting gifts the older you get. So I'm like, I'm gonna buy myself something.
Good. No, that's great. That's a good.
Dude,
I might adopt that myself. It's good.
That's the best form of self-love right there, dude. It makes me so happy to hear you say that, man. Like,
Yeah, man.
by all means, everyone out there, don't forget to treat yourself.
That's right.
Okay, to take care of you. Okay, I talked about last month, 2 months ago. Okay, without you, okay, there's not the provider and people that love you for who you are. So take care of you. That's wonderful.
I agree, Gio, and I already have the flute dagger, by the way. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
the
see,
Green
Star
Ranger
Trek
one.
So do they all have different weapons?
Yeah, they all have different weapons. Yeah, and so they've made the Blue Ranger and the Yellow Ranger and the Green Ranger. The Pink Ranger has a bow and arrow. They haven't made that yet, which I can't wait. And then the Black Ranger has an axe, which I want both.
Oh, that sounds cool. Oh, yeah.
That's amazing, dude. Jacob, I'm glad to hear you had a good birthday. That's awesome, man. Okay, Keith, you ready to jump into Deadpool and Wolverine?
Yeah, man. I went and saw it again Tuesday night. So the second time I watched it, I was able to actually I kind of tried to take some little notes and pick up stuff. But it was a packed theater again for the second time. So
okay, we're gonna hear you guys' I want to know about you guys' theater experience, but first, cue the video. Yeah, we are now in spoiler territory. In case that video didn't, give you guys any hints. Okay, we're going full on spoilers.
Where does that footage come from? Did Marvel release that stuff?
No, the internet gets their hands on this kind of stuff.
Yeah, no,
probably. Oh, you mean what are you talking about?
Well, I know the moment the movie airs in like another country, it's everywhere. I know that, but like it looks like really good quality. It looks like so someone like stole the digital footage. Like it's not like shot in the theater with a camera. Yeah.
Not those days anymore. Those X-Men Origins Wolverine leaks, So
yeah, right.
So guys, I talked about my theater experience. Okay, there wasn't as much pop, which I was a little bit bummed about, but it didn't ruin my enjoyment of Deadpool and Wolverine. Talk about your theater experience. How was it for you guys?
Jacob?
My theater went insane because I went to the 645 XD Thursday night in Doco. So it was packed full of fans, like real fans, and I mean, it was just like one of those Infinity War, like No Way Home experiences.
Spider-Man.
Like, maybe not on that level, like quite, but it was right up there.
Yeah.
And the people in the theater, like they got all the cameos, they got all the references, like everybody was reacting to everything, like even when just like Azazel comes on screen, people clapping and cheering, like and it's not even the same actor. Like a lot of those cameos, I didn't know this, are not the same actors. Like Juggernaut's not the same actor. Lady Deathstroke's not the same actor. Is that her name? Yeah. Azazel's not, but obviously like Pyro is, but Deathstrike, yeah. But it was insane. Like people were like, even when B-15 comes on screen, like just a character from Loki, I'm like, that's what's up. So when the big ones came, it was huge. Yeah. So it was definitely a good experience.
Yeah, same. I saw it in the same place, Doko downtown XD.
Yeah.
I saw it Saturday morning. We went to the first show, 9:45.
Packed.
Yes, which I was very surprised.
Nice.
I didn't think that was gonna. I didn't think that show would be packed like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, full. Like, and then like I said, I saw it again Tuesday night in Arden, full.
Saw it twice.
Yeah.
Okay, Jacob, how many times have you seen it?
I've only gone once, but I'm planning my second viewing here soon. Like, I need to see it at least 2 or 3 more times in theaters.
Hey, let's go.
But I'm down. But
Let's
I'm
go.
also like, I made the mistake in the past with like The Force Awakens. Like, I saw it 8 times and like so close together. Like, I literally went the night of, went home, slept for like 4 hours, woke up and went to the very first showing in the morning the next day, and then saw it like 6 more times within the next 2 weeks. And I started to get especially the beginning of the movie, I started like, all right, let's go. Come on. And I don't ever want to do that again to myself, to where by the time it comes out on streaming, I'm like tired of it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to see it 2 or 3 more times, but I'm going to space it out. But trust me, I'm dying to see it. I'm thinking about it every day. Like, it's one of those things. And I'm just like, all I'm doing is listening to like podcasts and reviews, like all the time, like just about it. Yeah. It's taking over my life.
I haven't listened to any. Yeah. I held off. I wanted to wait till we talked about it.
Campia did a 5 hours spoiler discussion.
Wow.
5 hours. So if you want to dive deep, you got that.
Yeah. I'll have to listen to his. Because, when I went and saw it second time, I went to see it because I had this weird thing happen where I was trying to think about it, and I couldn't remember anything because it was so much. Woo! Like, I remember little bits of it. I remember, a bunch of obviously the cameos. I didn't want this to just be cameo fest. Like, I think it's, I don't think it necessarily is. Like, Spider-Man was kind of that, but it was still, there was a story there. It was, but it was like, this one I don't know why, I just couldn't remember. I'm trying to think what happens in the movie. So I went back to see it the second time with the intent on, all right, let me just focus on all like what's happening. Like I said, I took a few notes, just some jokes that kind of I missed that were really funny. I got a couple really funny ones that I didn't pick up on the first time, that I caught on the second time. But same thing. Big crowd reactions. I think our buddy John Booz, I think, maybe mentioned that Blade got the biggest cheer.
Yes.
Both times I saw it, exactly the same thing. We'll get into all that, but it was a lot of fun. Kids, they all loved it. I mean, this is the big. I think this is the big theater thing.
Were all the kids allowed to see it?
I did. I took Emma to see it.
There were kids in my screening.
You're right. Yeah. I mean, look, she's about to turn 12 next week.
It's
you know what I mean.
And it's Deadpool. It's not like Original Sin or something.
Well, we watched. I didn't let her watch the first one, but we did watch Deadpool 2 the night before, because Charlize hadn't seen it either. Because I'm like, oh yeah, because I forgot at the time that came out. I didn't let them watch it. So like, you haven't seen Deadpool 2 or Deadpool 2? I said, oh yeah, okay. So I let them watch that the night before, which really was a big going Deadpool 2 the night before and going straight into this one. That was a big that helped actually. It helped. It filled in a lot of stuff I couldn't remember. I watched it earlier this year, but there's a lot of stuff I just didn't remember. I was happy to see some of the cast, a lot of the cast from that come back for this one in the beginning, so that was cool. But see, I was just about to say that. I actually, Star Drew, what he just mentioned, he said this was tamer than the other Deadpool movies. Yes and no. I kind of agree with that. I actually don't think this is, if we're talking about how, what we think about it, I kind of like the other two better. Like overall, I think the other two are better than this one.
Interesting. Okay.
But this movie's very good. I think it's very, very good.
Yeah, if you're just asking me as a movie, I think Deadpool 1 is a better movie. I think Deadpool and Wolverine is better than Deadpool 2, and honestly, I do. I have some problems with Deadpool 2. I still like it very much.
Right.
But I have some problems with Deadpool 2. But the thing is, if you were to tell me like you can only watch one of them for the rest of your life, you can't watch the other two, I would choose Deadpool and Wolverine because of Hugh Jackman as
That's
Wolverine.
That's
honestly.
the draw right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's like 45% a Wolverine movie, I would say.
Yeah, I feel like he took it. First of all, I will say I used to be that way. I just feel the same way about Deadpool 2. It's grown on me a lot. I've rewatching it. I'm like, oh, this movie's better than I thought for all these years. Better than I thought about it before. But it's just me. I think, oh, okay, this is better than. It's all right. It's pretty good. But I agree with you. I thought it was the lesser of the two, but then watching it, like, I think it's probably just as good as the first. And you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like Wolverine in this, it felt more 45%. That's a good. Okay, that's a good. I'm glad you said put that number on it, because I was like, I felt like Wolverine kind of took more of a back seat.
And I think he should have, but slightly, which I'm okay with.
Yeah. It's definitely this movie. I mean, it's Deadpool all day. Like this is Deadpool's movie for sure.
Yeah, it might even be 60-40, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is fine. But I mean, and I will say, I love this movie for multiple reasons, but I do, and maybe I'll feel different. I've only seen it once, and I won't lie, the Doko seats are not that comfortable. The Laguna XD seats, which people have, what's Laguna? No, because I live near El Grove.
Okay.
The El Grove Laguna XD seats are way more comfortable than the Doko ones, and I've been going to Laguna so much, so I was sitting awkwardly, and it was hot, and I was like, I need to go more comfortable setting and watch it. But
you're talking about Century. You're talking about the Cinemark?
Yeah. Century Laguna, Century Doko.
The Arden seats are way better too.
Yeah. So I wasn't like the most comfortable watching it, but I do think that a few things in this movie were a little too silly for me. And then I think about it, I'm like, wait a minute. The first two Deadpool movies are really silly. Like when he gets his body ripped in half and he has the tiny legs, like
baby legs. Yeah.
Okay. And then there are moments in the first Deadpool 2 that, I mean, the Deadpool 1 is actually pretty, like, it's funny, but I don't know if it's silly, but there are silly parts for sure.
Yeah.
But for me, and there's so many great things to say about it, but I'll just say, like, the thing that prevents it from like being like a top 5 favorite comic book movie of all time or being the best Deadpool movie for me are like some of the things that go too far. Like Nice Pool was kind of, they went a little too far. Look, it was funny.
It was hilarious, really. Oh, wow.
It was hilarious, but like kind of got a little too silly for me.
Sure.
And then the Deadpool core, while that
was a bit much.
Enjoyed it, like it was awesome. See, the thing is, I never read Deadpool comics, so like I don't really know all those references. But and while it was really cool, some of them were really cool to see. Like I particularly love seeing like Kid Pool and a few of the other ones, but like that was the big fight at the end of the movie, right? I mean, to me, the fight in the void, while not perfect, was the better fight. But that was the big climactic fight versus all the Deadpools. And while it was awesome seeing Wolverine wreck shop, it was just a little silly for me. And then like the way they get rid of them with the Peter thing was a little silly. But other than that, honestly, like outside of those couple things, like I love the movie other than those.
Sure.
You know, to your point, Jacob, this movie goes really deep in some places. You know, I mean, you got the Deadpool corp there. Seeing all the Wolverine variants, which let me pull up right here. I mean,
That was
If
awesome.
if you haven't, seen a comic book, okay, or read it or whatnot, you probably had no idea what all these meant. Okay,
The
but
patch one I nearly jumped out of my seat. I was like, oh, the patch Wolverine. Oh my god.
yeah, that was sick. Old Man Logan, of course, which that's old man right there, and then you got Age of Apocalypse, of course. But the one that got the bigger pop in my audience was Wolverine and Hulk. I mean, just the one to the left right there, man, just that's a fight that I would love to see.
He had the brown suit too,
Mm-hmm.
which you pointed out. It was a really cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, of course, on the bottom right, left sets of columns, you got the Wolverine finally with his mask on. Finally put the mask on, and man, I freaking lost it. I'm like, that right there.
The
Really?
I thought it. Yeah, it's after a few minutes, I got used to it. It's like, okay, like watching it the second time, it's like, all right. It's like,
explain yourself.
But the moment of him putting it on.
Oh, that was cool. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I'm trying to think. The moment of him putting on the mask got a huge pop. It's not a cameo, obviously, it's a moment, but that might have been the biggest pop in my theater was him putting on the mask. Because we didn't know it was there, and then just
right the whole time. Right, exactly. And the eyes move too, just like Deadpool.
What? Like, and for me, like, here, all right, before I forget. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I will say that he should have had the shoulder pads.
You guys remember what Deadpool says right there?
What did he say? I don't remember now.
He calls what he calls his
calls them
ears
handles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That was very funny.
To me, all right. We've been waiting to see the suit, right? Like Deadpool says, it only took 20 years. But the thing for me, they didn't just, hey, let's put him in the suit just because. They gave us an amazing reason why. Mm-hmm. Because he said, Scott always wanted me to wear it.
Yes.
And his X-Men got murdered, right? And he said he wears it as a reminder of like what he did, how he wasn't there for them, and like as an homage to them, basically.
Or what he had. Yeah.
And that's beautiful because like if let's say he shows up in Secret Wars, right? And he's wearing the suit, it's not just for fan service. It has a story purpose for that character. So I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
That was pretty deep right there. And, it really hits you, when you find out the backstory of, why this Wolverine is such an alcoholic. I mean, he more than any movie, this guy chugging hard liquor, anything, and just, man, what Cassandra does to him and just gets inside his brain and like makes him relive all that pain. It's just, oof, man. Yeah. Hugh Jackman, I mean, like, it goes without saying, he's great, but he always brings it. There's not one movie where he phones it in, which is, more than I could say for some other, actors in the X-Men franchise, but he just always brings it every time. You know who else brought it in his 30 seconds on screen? This guy right here. Henry freaking Cavill.
Okay,
as one of only two other actors to ever play Wolverine in a live adaptation.
Listen,
how perfect.
I know this was just because of fan casting all these years, and they're just doing like they did with John Krasinski and Doctor Strange too. But
exactly.
Come on.
Don't remind me.
Come on. They have to do this. They have to do this. He exists. He's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Wolverine. They have to do this. Come on, man. Like, we'll get to it later. I kind of get the feeling because they said that Well, I get a feeling we'll still see Hugh Jackman. I'll bring it up later, but
100%.
In terms of what they're doing with the universe. But damn it, can we get Henry Cavill as Wolverine? I don't even care about Superman anymore. Henry Cavill as Wolverine. That was, oh my god, man. That blew me away. I didn't even think about it. I heard so many I heard 100 different cameos of people who are going to be in this movie. That I was trying to ignore and filter out and just thankfully just not remember. One or two of them I did when they popped up on screen. I went, oh yeah, I did hear about that. I had no idea about Henry Cavill's movie. Did not hear it. So this blew me away.
And I love what Deadpool says to him because it's so true. You know, they'll treat you better than those a-holes down the street or jackasses down the street, and that's so true. And if you know, you know. Okay,
wow.
No, Rachel. I mean, I don't care about Henry Cavill not being Superman. Is what I should have said. Yeah, I'll let that go. I want Henry Cavill as Wolverine. Even more.
Mean, considering his last cameo and how like.
Oh, and Shazam.
In Black Adam.
Black Adam,
you know, it was nice to see, you know, and it got us excited for about 5 seconds. But admittedly,
they immediately said the next week, like, yeah, he's not coming back.
And it was also Dwayne Johnson who like put it out there because the tracking for Black Adam wasn't doing very well, so he just put it out there, you know. But this one, miles better and more impactful than the Black Adam you know, shoe-in. You know, hindsight's 2020, but you know, it's just, you know, in my opinion, like, and he's so jacked. He's so jacked.
Yeah, right.
I was like, man, how much muscle did you put on for this? Like, maybe this was his audition, but I don't remember him being that freaking ripped and
he was
big.
Super big in the Gentleman of the Ministry of Gentleman Warfare too. Him and
so maybe this was around the same time.
Him and the Jack Reacher guy. I can't think of his name. What's his name?
Alan Richardson.
Yeah, big, just monster dude. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, it might have been around the same time. Yeah, maybe.
And did you guys? I didn't catch this, but somebody pointed out on social media the way his claws come out, his arms. It's the same motion from Fallout, Mission Impossible Fallout, when he did you know, shotgun pumps his arms.
Yeah,
like he cocks his arms. Yeah,
he did the same motion. I was like, oh, that's so true. Man,
I like how his first instinct is like, this guy just shows up through a portal and it's like, I'm gonna fight him.
Right.
Shoot.
Well, I was saying that about all of each one of those. You know, each one of those parents. Like, why are they off? I mean, Deadpool's annoying, so I guess, you know.
So look, if Marvel didn't do this to me before, I would be losing my mind over this, because I had wanted Henry Cavill. Like, if Hugh Jackman wasn't going to come back, Henry Cavill would have been my number one choice to play Wolverine. But after the John Krasinski thing,
You're not getting your hopes up?
No, because to me now, any cameo like that is just, it's just fan service real quick. It doesn't mean the actor's going to play that role in the future.
Right.
But John Krasinski could still be.
That's true. No, with multiverse, anything can happen.
Yeah.
You know, right. Like, the thing is, like, there's so many things you can do. Like John Krasinski could play the Maker if you wanted, like the evil Reed Richards, if you want to do that in the future or something like that. But or vice versa. Maybe Pedro passed the Maker and then he comes in as a good Reed, you know, which is fair. But like, I thought in Multiverse of Madness, I thought that was an announcement that John Krasinski is our Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Just like they've done that before, right? Haven't they like announced like first time seeing an actor in a role like in the movie or in a post-credit scene? I'm trying to think of an example, but But either way, even if they haven't, I thought that was an announcement. Gio, you were with me. Do you remember I lost my mind when John Krasinski came on screen?
Oh
in
yeah.
Multiverse of Madness? I was freaking out. I was like, yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes. And then now I just see this Henry Cavill thing as like a fun little cameo, like
Right.
just for fun. But if Hugh Jackman, like, I think Hugh Jackman's run could wrap up in Secret Wars. Like, I think he could be in Secret Wars. Either he dies or the universes come together or not all the characters make it or whatever. And then like you have a new X-Men team. Didn't Kevin Feige say the next saga is the mutant saga? Like after the multiverse saga, they're gonna do the mutant saga.
I think so. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
like
or
we're gonna get a new X-Men team. If Henry Cavill is the Wolverine in the X-Men team, I couldn't be happier. Couldn't be happier.
Well, the thing I was sorry, Gio, real quick.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
One of the notes I took because I caught this the second time watching is B15 said that their universe was regenerated. So I kind of wonder if they're going to actually bring all those actors back, including Hugh Jackman.
Wait, which universe? Oh, the one that
The X-Men universe.
well, yeah, because isn't it pretty much hinted at or alluded to that they can go back and undo it,
Yes.
and undo a lot of the things. I mean that's how Vanessa stayed alive. She TVA could have easily ended that and say no, she's
Right.
dead. Is what it is, but it appears they've softened on that.
And
She
I
showed
was
him
thinking
little-
about that, Keith. That is the Fox X-Men universe in
Right.
one way or another.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think they might all come back at least for one. Maybe not like for going forward, but at least for one movie or.
I think up until Secret Wars, any of them can pop up in any of the movies.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I love that lineup right there.
Yeah.
I love that lineup.
You're thinking about Channing
Okay.
Tatum. Oh, go ahead, Gio. Go ahead.
No. Yeah, we can get the Channing Tatum. One of the more divisive, adaptations that people seem to be one way or the other. Of course, and it's primarily his accent. But what I see other people trying to explain to these haters is that they dialed up the Cajun accent intentionally.
Yes.
Of course.
And it's mentioned in the dialogue, right? How many times is Deadpool like asking to repeat it, or like, I forget what movie he references, but it's just like, who's your dialogue coach?
Swing
The
Blade?
minions? Swing Blade.
Yeah, but
Right.
both of those, yeah.
But man,
and he says,
when
I feel like the audience is missing some important exposition here.
Yeah.
Right. When he showed up, though, man,
that was another one I did not. That's one I didn't hear. Just again, I avoided a lot of the stuff, so I didn't, but I had no idea.
So nobody ever said for sure on most of them. They were all speculation for the most part.
So I did hear about Elektra, Jennifer Garner's Elektra.
Yeah.
I'd heard that as a possibility. Like, okay, I wasn't totally surprised.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised on the Blade one. Like it was only because to me, I connected the dots like with Ryan Reynolds being in Blade 3, and I know there were rumors that they didn't like each other and stuff, but
they did.
Well, he says it. He said, "You never did."
He said, I caught that the second time. I didn't catch that the first time. That cracked me up.
Yeah. But yeah, like the Gambit and Gambit surprised me because like I thought about it, but I never thought they would do it. Which is really awesome.
Let me just say, as far as the agree, yeah, I didn't think about it at all. I actually yelled out, "What?" when he came to the door, or when it came on the screen. But let me just say, I'm from the South. Okay, I'm from Virginia and Florida. That's how they talk. All right, my sister My younger sister.
Thank you.
She grew up in New Orleans. That is how they talk. All right. So I don't know, like and that's how Gambit talks. It's like
Yeah.
you watch any. We got 2 different series of the animated X-Men. That's how he sounds. Like it's supposed to be. I don't know who's getting upset about it. I mean, but like that's how they talk. Like there's different parts of the country here in America where people will talk and you'd be like, "What'd you say?" Like a lot of that just kind of happens to be in that southeast where there's a lot of that down there where you're kind of like, "What are you talking about? What'd you say?" But I thought he was great. His thing that he wears on his head didn't look quite as silly as I thought it might. It looks silly, but I don't know. It works, man. I was rocking with Channing Tatum.
Particularly after X-Men 97 coming out, like just a reminder of that Gambit and how awesome Gambit is. I thought that was really cool to see. And if let's say they made a Gambit movie or like they made an X-Men movie and that's how he's talking, like, and it's silly, I don't think it works. But it works in a Deadpool movie.
Right.
But let's say they bring him back. I think they're gonna tone it down a little bit. Like,
right.
I think you'll be able to hear everything he's saying. Yeah.
What's the other guy's name?
Taylor Kitsch.
Taylor Kitsch, yeah. He does a little bit of it. It's not as heavy as what Channing Tatum is doing, but he does it too. And I think they would do it more like that.
Yeah, I think it would be like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Blade was another one. That one blew me away.
Oh,
I did not hear it. Gio, I know you heard all these probably or saw all these.
Most of them.
I'm glad you didn't reveal this to me because that one, it's another one I had no idea. I was almost in tears. I was like, "What?" Blade, Wesley Snipes' Blade. Do you think that with that, do you think the other Blade's probably dead? Because you and I just talked about it, or a couple weeks ago, whenever. You think Mahershala Ali's Blade might be gone?
I mean, they're still. They say that it's still in development and they're working hard on it, but we didn't hear anything about it at Comic-Con, which is pretty telling.
Right.
I mean, but what else is there to? I mean, you don't want to announce something and then like that director leaves, right? It's just, it's a freaking, it's a roller coaster, not a fun one.
What if they just bring back Wesley Snipes? Yeah.
I mean, all the way up until Secret Wars, yeah, you could, but
not in a Blade movie, but as a character, that's fine. Yeah.
Why not?
I mean,
I wouldn't mind.
The thing is, Deadpool says like we had some help with some friends, and then B-15 says like I'll see what I can do, and she gets Laura out. Why would she only get Laura out and not the other ones? You just leave it at that and say they all got out and they left the void. They get a happy ending, like they don't have to live in the void for the rest of their lives. Or I think anyone's fair game for Secret Wars. I mean, I didn't read Secret Wars, but I know it's a big multiversal story and like tons of different versions of characters are in that, right? So they can do the exact same thing with the movie characters.
Yeah. Including like another guy that we'll talk about when we're done here. But I don't know, man. Gio, what time did you go to a Thursday show as well? Did you go to the opening night?
Yeah, I went at there was a showing at 5:30 and then there was one at 7:30 and I went to that one. So
were you here back in town or were you?
Yeah, I was in Roseville.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, nice.
Roseville.
Oh, wow. Okay. Galleria. Did you go to the Galleria?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
So to me, the Wesley Snipes pop was huge, but I think the biggest pop might have been Chris Evans, to be honest, in my theater.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I knew going into the movie that it's possible he could show up as Cap or he could show up as Johnny. In the moment, I completely fell for it.
Yeah.
In the moment, I thought it was Cap. And
he's going to say it.
until Deadpool started saying he's gonna say it, and then I was like, wait a minute, because I was like, he's not gonna say I can do this all day or Avengers Assemble. And I was like, and right before he said it, it clicked, and I was like,
same.
Oh, he's Johnny Storm.
He said like he yelled at the guy, or he yelled at whoever he yelled at, like you dick something. I don't know. He said dick and something.
Oh.
I was like, that's not Steve Rogers. Like, and I did the same thing. Like right when they were building it up, I just in my head I went, oh, he's not Steve Rogers. And then I did, oh, okay. And
that was the hint that he's Johnny when he started
swearing. I'm like, that's not right.
Yeah.
Wasn't there some?
It was hilarious.
Wasn't there some shades of red though in his costume or something?
It was like red, white, and blue on his wrist. But they did that to mislead us.
Yeah, it was a misdirection. Yeah. Oh
and
man.
That was perfect. Yeah, so that was one of the ones where I think I'd heard that a year ago or whatever, or some months back or whatever. And I when I saw it, I went, okay, I think I did hear about this. But the surprise, I mean, it still got me. Jacob had the exact same story. It still got me. I was like, oh, okay.
I'm glad I fell for it because it was a huge surprise. Like, I felt it. Like, it was, I was genuinely surprised.
Like, same. Rachel, her comment here, the way he died, I fully expected him to reappear as Lucas Lee. I thought about that for a second. That's his character from Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, wow.
I actually thought about that for a second because he acts just like that. He's a jerk just like that. So I did think about that for a second.
What a brutal death.
That was horrendous.
Oh, man.
Like, oh, my God.
Ripped the whole skin off, man. Just
and I love how they tied it together in the post credits. To where he actually did say all that stuff. Like, that
they kind of had to do that because it did kind of sit wrong with me
that Deadpool got him killed.
Look, when Deadpool's killing people in battle, it's fair game. It's life or death. Well, not for him, but whatever. But like if he purposefully like got him killed for no reason, but also at the same time, he didn't have to tell her everything.
I was saying, he ratted him out. He didn't have to say that. He ratted on him, but I don't think he knew what was going to happen. Obviously, if he knew that, he would have. He probably wouldn't have said it. But okay, so our buddy just popped in. He was one of the first people I thought of when Chris Evans showed up. Jake Berlin, if anybody's listening. No one better be hating on this movie. I know where you all live. Jake, knock it off. Of course not. No, it was perfect, man. It was really good. Yeah, we all loved it. I think everybody's. It's doing massive numbers at the box office. Like, it's pretty. I didn't expect this either. You know, seeing the 211 or something like that, 211 million opening.
Oh yeah, it's insane. It's projected to cross $1 billion before the end of this week. It's just I'm telling you,
440 million or something like that from worldwide.
I'm telling you,
crazy.
2 billion,
maybe
2 billion.
Maybe
it's possible.
Can we talk about this character right here, Cassandra Nova, who is ruthless, psychopath. I mean, dangerous. I mean, we just talked about what she did to Human Torch, like the most one of the most gruesome MCU deaths ever. But there's a sequence where she puts Wolverine into the ground and then drags Wolverine from one side to the other while underground, and all that's gravel, dirt. It's just he's being dragged through it. It's just, oh man. And then the things that she does with her fingers going into your skull and out your nose, out your mouth, and it was just, man, she is a force. How'd you guys like her character?
If I may, I love the character. I thought she was great.
Yeah.
See, it's a little miniature. It's not a big deal necessarily, but it's not a big deal at all. But like in terms of talking about the movie, it's My only problem is that she does that stuff, but then she like kind of the rest of the time she doesn't really. I mean, she snatched off a dude's skin, and then like she doesn't really do anything that the rest of it kind of lets them. I don't know.
There's this part too.
Oh,
to
okay, now
to
that
Paradox.
was
And then drags him by his skull. Like,
Yeah.
that is
that was
that's
that was
I mean, you can only imagine like what
sinuses kind of like
what Groot is capable of, you
have
know.
a sinus infection with the hand and a hand, and you're like, oh man, like stop it. Oh,
yeah, I mean,
shoot.
I saw something that like she does that in the comics, like exactly like that. So that's kind of cool how they were able to bring it to live action. But she was cool. She served her purpose for me. Like she's not gonna go down as like obviously, like to me, like one of the best one-off villains is Hela from Thor Ragnarok, right? Like I don't think she's as good as Hela or anything like that, but I thought she served her purpose well. Like she's kind of too overpowered for this movie in a way, but at the same time, when you have characters that can't die, essentially, then it's fine to have her there. Because like, I mean, I'm sure she could have killed them somehow, some way, but she just didn't get enough time to. But yeah, I thought she was good for the story. Yep, like that. I thought she was good for the story, and yeah, I mean, she was kind of terrifying, honestly. Yeah. Like I felt the dread. I felt the dread with her, and I like how. So she had the sling ring, which has 2 Infinity Stones on it, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
she had the sling ring. She could have left anytime she wanted, but she wanted to be in the void. It was her kingdom. Yeah. It was her kingdom. She could rule there.
Right.
And like, I guess her and Paradox had an agreement, like keep sending me people, which is, you know what? I think a lot of those characters that were down there didn't deserve to be there, weren't meant to be pruned by the TVA.
Yes.
But because Paradox was supposed to keep sending her characters,
Elektra said that.
That's how they all ended up being down there.
Elektra said that. She when she was explaining she said exactly that. She said they just sent people there that they thought were what did she say? I can't remember her exact phrase, but she basically said that. They thought we were going to cause some trouble or something like that, so they sent us here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'll just say go ahead, Joe. No, we talked a lot, Joe. You go ahead.
No, for me, I personally think Cassandra Nova is one of the better MCU villains. You know, she was clearly, you know, bothered by, you know, the fact that, you know, she had a brother named, you know, obviously Charles Xavier, and they mentioned that she did, you know, try to kill him, and he tried to kill her. So I'm glad they mentioned that, but she's not a straight up just angry, I want to kill and this and that. You know, there's layers to her in my opinion, and it all comes together when Deadpool is talking to her, or is it Wolverine? No, it's Wolverine, and he's saying, "Your brother loved you. If he were alive right now, he would want you to be out of here. He would pull you out.
The universe would have to bring you.
He would, you know." And that speaks to me. You know, I'm always somebody who gets connected to characters who are siblings, and Jacob, you feel the same way too. And to see her reaction, it made sense for her to, you know, briefly turn and say, "Get out of here," because Alioth is coming right behind you, and I owe you guys one for helping me out. You know, and Pyro, who we'll talk about in a little bit, you know, betrayed her. You do that favor, and then you remind her some of the humanity that might still be in her with something as easy as, hey, your brother loved you, and if he were here right now, you wouldn't be in this world, you know. And then of course it all gets turned around, when Mr. Paradox decides, to betray her.
Well,
I don't know. So
yeah, yes, you're right. But then she goes to their universe. She's like, She takes the time. I forgot what it's called. It's like I'm gonna destroy every universe until
The
it's
Time
like
Ripper.
the Time Ripper.
See,
Yeah,
some of the stuff like the Time Ripper and
that was it. Yeah,
it's a
'cause it's like
little
it should have been something that we maybe saw in
cheesy.
Loki or something. But
But
whatever. That's
so it was a little jarring to me that she let them go, but I mean, they did save her life and not kill her, which I guess that's a good enough reason. But so after they left, remember she's talking to Pyro, and I loved this when she's like, why did you betray me? I'm gonna find out. And he's like, I'll just tell you. I'll just tell you. He's like,
just ask.
why don't you just ask sometimes? Like,
Yeah.
I loved that. And then once she realized that what Paradox ordered him to kill her, that's the only reason she came out. Like she wasn't gonna come out before that, I don't think.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
Because then she realized, oh, like he's not gonna keep sending me, variants. He's just gonna,
yeah, you
So yeah,
broke the agreement, and to that point, what is going on with the TVA? People are not a fan of how, I guess, Loki and B-15 and company are running things. Now you got people inside the TVA clearly who are, having their own agendas and, trying to do stuff. That's,
Yeah.
I don't think we'll get a Loki season 3, but I'm curious to see what kind of role the TVA continues to play going forward. Maybe now they bring Mobius back. Owen Wilson, who I was kind of expecting to see in this movie, but the way he was left off, it made sense. He's doing his own thing until he's going to get the call back from probably B-15.
Yeah, no one knows because Loki just walked out there, and they didn't know what he was doing. Like no one knows that Loki's doing what he's doing. So yeah, I agree. I wonder how they're going to reveal that to anyone. Speaking of that, the one thing I did hear, and you and I might have talked about it, was that Thor was going to be in this movie. Now, obviously, he's mentioned several times.
And he
kept having dreams about him, and he was. Yes, they showed him. I heard that I can't remember what I was watching. Ryan Reynolds was talking about some of the stuff that concepts they were going to do in this movie, and one of those was going to be that Deadpool would go into Thor: The Dark World, and they were going to replay a bunch of that stuff with Deadpool there. And I wonder if that's what that scene was, because it kind of looked like that scene when
Loki dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's actual footage from Thor: The Dark World. I mean, the shot, I'll bring it up right here. It looks like dead on. Like I remember that shot right there from Thor: The Dark World. And
yeah,
so that's
I don't think Chris Hemsworth shot new footage.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Yeah.
I think they just digitally did it. That's what it looks like to me, at least.
What kind of
And
so you guys don't think well, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, yeah, I'm just saying he kept asking. He's like, wait, no. Even at the end of the movie, he asked the dude, like, why was Thor crying? What was going on there? And he never got an answer. So I wonder if that's something we'll actually
They have to address it in a future movie. Like,
yeah.
I think I mean, it could be like, a different timeline, Thor: The Dark World, and Deadpool was there for some reason. But I think they'll address it. But look, Thor looks like the traditional Thor from the older movies.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Jake, are you talking about Hemsworth? I'm guessing you're talking about Hemsworth. Okay.
Yeah.
Said he didn't. Okay.
Which I'm curious. Go ahead, Jacob. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna, if hypothetically that actually happens in the future of the MCU, it's going to be interesting to see, because that means Thor and Deadpool will develop a friendship. and then like
Which is
so much
interesting.
so that Thor's gonna cry when
Thor's
he
crying.
dies.
Yeah.
Which I find interesting because it goes against what Hemsworth wants to do with the character going forward. He wants to take it, if I'm not mistaken, at the end of after Love and Thunder came out, he was like kind of iffy about playing the character anymore, and just like if he does do Thor 5 and appearances as Thor, he's gonna want to shift away from the whole kind of thing he's been doing and since Ragnarok. So I don't know. I find that pretty interesting. I don't know. So let's wrap up the Deadpool and Wolverine discussion. Final
I
thoughts.
just want to say the my favorite thing about this movie is well, Hugh Jackman is Wolverine, but seeing him and Laura reunite. Well,
Yeah.
Laura reunite with the variant of him, because you guys know how much I love Logan. Logan is my favorite comic book movie of all time, and to see her back, because there was a point in time where like, oh, we're never going to see her as X-23 again, obviously, because Logan was dead, all that, and to see them have those conversations, and to see that she is there at the end of the movie, which means I think we will see her again. That was my favorite thing about the movie, because like I never thought I would get to see that character again, and now the fact that she can return in the MCU at some point, like if they're gonna have an X-23, it could just be her.
Yeah.
Like, and I would love to see her in a yellow suit, like in the yellow suit as well.
Yeah.
Are they setting up her to be the future Wolverine? Like we're not going to get Hugh Jackman or Logan for a while.
I think they can both exist, honestly. I could see a situation where, like, I don't know, she's running around with like Kate Bishop and like Miss Marvel, and then Wolverine's with the X-Men, you know?
Yeah. She could, yeah.
But hey, she's one of the more powerful young characters if she's around, because like even though like they're not considered Omega level mutants or anything, like they're basically they're
the next level down.
They can't die, so like they're very difficult to kill, right? So like they can go into any battle and just defeat almost a lot of foes because of the way their powers work. So we'll see.
Right. Like they're not like planet destroying powers, but they could be, if the planet is destroyed, they could be the only people that survive. So
yeah, I mean, I like what
sort of Omen.
I like what Jake said too. I mean, she might be too powerful for that group, but hey, if they say in X-Men she's the Wolverine character going forward, I'll be happy with that.
She's too powerful for the Young Avengers. She should take the Wolverine mantle, do a silver and red suit instead of the yellow. Oof, man,
I don't. There's no what's too powerful. I gotta disagree with that.
Yeah, I mean, because Miss Marvel's pretty powerful with the bands and everything. Marvel, yeah.
I mean, even in the regular Avengers, I mean, that's Thor, Captain Marvel. I mean, there's some very. No one's too. I don't think anyone's too powerful in this when it comes to this kind of universe, like to be in it. I know what you mean, but I don't think I would disagree.
Well, I'd be shocked if they even do a Young Avengers. I don't think that's happening.
I think like they're setting it up.
They're cutting. Remember what Kevin Feige, I think Bob Iger said, right? They're cutting back.
Sure.
They're not going to be doing 7-8 combined films and TV series. Nope. And
for now,
I don't think we need to. There's too many things that the MCU needs to catch up on.
Well, I agree, but it's something that these actors and characters are all young enough. They can save it for later. They can, maybe not.
Yeah, but will they be young?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we'll see.
I
don't
think
know.
that they'll be there. I don't think they're gonna make a Young Avengers movie or show. I think like they'll be there. Like we talked about this before, but like if they like the older main Avengers have to go take on what's going on in Doomsday and Secret Wars, or whatever, and then they have to hold fort on Earth, type of thing. Yeah,
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
Do some
but
Marvel
like in the same movie.
presentations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, real quick, I know Jacob. I know you got to go now. I'm not trying to take over the show, but you mentioned Doomsday, so I don't know if you want to.
All right, here we go.
Good transition.
We all love Deadpool. Deadpool Wolverine, great. We all love it. Okay.
I mean, this is potentially one of the more entertaining characters in all of fiction. If we're going to do this, if we're going to bring him to movie theaters worldwide, then I think we're going to need the greatest actor in the world to play that character. Yeah, okay, ladies and gentlemen, as proof of the unimaginable possibilities in the Marvel multi-universe, we give you the one person who could play Victor Von Doom.
Yeah, baby.
Okay.
That gave me chills.
I mean,
New mask, same task. What did I tell you? I like playing complicated characters. Wow.
Thank you so much, Downey, for coming back to the MCU.
Like Robbie.
oh, I didn't know that.
Wow.
Oh,
Imagine how he
man.
feels in that moment.
That's crazy.
Okay, Jacob, take it away.
Look, I was texting you guys the other day that I was not particularly happy about this. And it comes from a place of love, though. And because he's my favorite character in the MCU. Hugh Jackman, Wolverine's in the MCU now. I might have to
Yes, he is.
might have to change that. But original MCU.
Tobey Maguire's kind of no. Are they
Sacred
in the MCU?
Timeline MCU. RDJ is my Tony Stark is my favorite character, and a lot of people are upset about this because of like they're like comic book purists, and they're like, oh, you can't do this. Like it has to be like regular Victor Von Doom. Da, da, da. That's not my reason. To me, it's just like the Iron Man and Tony Stark character is very special, and the way they told his character, his story, and wrapped it up and everything, and he's so synonymous with being the hero, the leader, one of the leaders of the Avengers, etc. And to me, I get why they're doing it, but like, I just don't think it's necessary. And I also at the same time, I really, even though they tried it 3 or 4 times and it hasn't worked, I really want an original Victor Von Doom, and I just want to see it, done well. And I just think it's so complicated. But that was like 3 days ago when I was texting you guys, and I was not happy about it. I could tell.
You weren't.
I have kind of opened up to the idea. But because I heard people say, okay, because when I talked to you guys, I didn't know all the details. So they said he's Victor Von Doom, but to me, it has to be a variant of Tony Stark who somehow becomes Victor Von Doom. If they do that one way or another, I'm happy with it. If they're just saying, no, this is just Victor Von Doom, he just happens to look like Iron Man, that doesn't work for me. But if they say like, okay, in this universe, Iron Man had or like the same genetic being that was born as that person just happened to have a different upbringing, and one way or another, whether he was adopted or he was born in a different country or something like that, he was raised as Victor Von Doom, but he's same intellect, same capabilities, like similar like arrogance and intelligence, and then but he has those same abilities as a human, but it's basically evil instead of good. Then it can work for me. But if it's just like, just, oh no, it's Victor Von Doom, has nothing to do with Tony Stark, then I don't know, but we'll see. I mean, I'm more open-minded to the idea today. I am.
Keith?
Well, I was the complete opposite, as you can see.
Okay.
By my responses in our text. I was like, Jacob. I was like talking to you as if you were there. As I was typing, I was saying, Jacob, no. I can understand everything you just said. Because I know how you feel about Iron Man. So I could feel that as I was reading. I was like, I know, Jacob. I know, I get it. I know you don't. I know. I understand. I was immediately like, oh, bravo. That's brilliant. Brilliant move. I compared the Russos coming back when I think it was last week, or no, the week before. No, yeah, it was last week when Gio and I were talking last week about the Russos coming back. I compared it to when Phil Jackson came back to the Lakers in 06, 05 or 06, whatever it was, when he came back to the Lakers. After he swore he wasn't going to never coach Kobe Bryant again, all that stuff. Came back, won 2 championships. That's what this is. And this is an extension of that. Brilliant move. And immediately, because I'm aware, I kind of wish now that we had talked about it on Saturday because now there's been a bunch of videos and other articles and stuff and people talking, explaining, the link between these two characters. But I texted to you guys right away. I'm like, these two characters there's precedence for this in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
They are quite very much linked together. They don't like each other. Like they hate each other, in fact. They have quite a rivalry. Like his biggest rival outside of Dr. Doom's biggest rival outside of Reed Richards is probably Iron Man. It's Tony Stark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I just thought it was brilliant. I was like, I get it. And I know people are like, why don't they just cast Jacob, you might have said this too. There's been a lot of it on the internet. Why don't they just cast Chris Hemsworth as whoever, I don't know, as Thanos or what? Like, okay, that's not, again.
Maybe a version of exists out there.
Well, it could be because we've been seeing it. You had all three different guys as Peter Parker, and they're all like, I mean, we're all Peter Parker. Like it's not like, and they're all just looking at each other like someone called their name, and they all turned around like, yeah, like So there's precedence for it in the movies. I get from a business wise. I mean, it's a business. Robert Downey Jr. You get him back in here, man. Like that's I don't know. It's the Russos, Robert Downey Jr. and he's playing Dr. Doom. Because here's the other thing. It's Robert Downey Jr., man. World-class actor.
Just won an Oscar.
Coming off that Oscar where he played an antagonist.
So that's what I'm saying. So you can't be worried that, like, if you're worried about them getting Dr. Doom right, you're getting Dr. Doom right. Robert Downey Jr.
Like, in a vacuum,
you're getting the performance.
Let's say they, like, rebooted the MCU and, like, this was brand new and they're starting off with the Fantastic Four movie and it's like, oh, Robert Downey Jr. is going to play Dr. Doom. Yeah. And that's like, they've done things like movies have done things like that before, where an
Yeah.
old character that was part of the old franchise plays a new one. If it was like that, I'd be cool with it. So I kind of got to look at it that way.
There you go. Yeah,
because it's a different universe.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And everyone's so attached to Iron Man. I understand that. I do. But even listen, my son loves Iron Man more than anybody. He was like, oh, what? And he's very excited about this because he loves Robert Downey Jr. He's always since he was little. So this is, I think people just have to. I understand it's gonna be tough to do, but when they see what he's doing, I'm telling you, we're talking maybe Heath Ledger level potentially.
Well, another reason why I think it has to be a Tony Stark variant one way or another is because when the other characters, like when Rhodey and Peter Parker and
when they look at him,
characters see him
and they got to fight Dr. Doom.
I knew you in another, like you were the one who saved the world. You were the one who sacrificed yourself. And then he's gonna be like, that wasn't me. Like, you know, like what a fool. Like he should have never sacrificed himself to save you guys. Like, and they're gonna be heartbroken. Like, so I could see the potential with this for sure.
That's assuming, and because it's him, I think you'd have to have a scene like that because normally, I know it's different comics, different stuff, but I mean, Doctor Doom, like literally, he's so arrogant, he never takes his mask off because there's some versions where he is all scarred up, and there's some versions where he's not. He's just like a little scratch, and he's so arrogant. He thinks he's horribly disfigured, and he just won't take off the mask. But yeah, that would make sense to have anybody that knew him. Well, Tony Stark, see him and go, wait, what is this? You know, and he's just like, I have no idea who you're. The only thing we lose though is we don't get. I don't know what they're gonna do. Maybe we do. I don't know. But we're not gonna get Doctor Doom versus Iron Man, which is something I just thinking about forever. They probably won't do that now.
I guess you could though.
maybe, but they'd have to obviously both be in costume, unless somebody else is, or both be in their armor, you know. But
we'll definitely see Rhodey and Ironheart fighting Dr. Doom. I think just to get that juxtaposition. Sure. Yeah,
because I told you because I said to you guys in the text, like Dr. Doom he's essentially he's Iron Man. He makes his Iron Man armor. He's like a Iron Man that uses magic, basically.
Yeah, like Iron Man and Doctor Strange combined.
Sure. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Exactly. You know, but they're essentially the same guy. Like it would be like, is it Tony Stark, Victor Von Doom, both as almost as arrogant and as vindictive,
an arrogant genius, billionaire,
petty as each other. But one of them just is a good guy, one's a bad guy. You know. But
well, Gio, what do you think about this, man? Like, what was your first reaction? Like, how are you feeling about it now?
I still feel the same. I love this move. New mask, same task.
I love that line.
Put a suit of armor around the world.
Yeah.
And instead of Ultron, it's Doom and Doom bots. And
that makes sense, actually.
Man, just the possibilities, like you said, you know, on paper. I mean, I haven't seen a dream team like this since O.J. Simpson and his attorneys. Like that's just you have the ultimate team right there of creatives. Feige, the Russos, McFeely, you know, the writers from Infinity War and Endgame.
Just one of them. The other one's not doing it apparently.
Oh, he's not?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
McFeely. Still just having McFeely. And you got to think, guys, Robert wouldn't come back if the idea wasn't spectacular. If the idea wasn't mind-blowing right there. He gets an opportunity to play like the Russo said, you know, one of the most iconic characters in the MCU, a character that people have been waiting to see on the big screen. And the fact that it takes place during the multiverse saga, I mean, that's an opportunity that you can't pass up. The opportunity to have a familiar face go up against the Avengers, and the Avengers, Tom Holland's Peter Parker being like, oh my God, Mr. Stark? No, not Mr. Stark. And no matter how much you try to convince him, it's not the same person.
Him.
It's
Mhm.
not the same person. And I love the title, Avengers Doomsday. I mean, it's just badass. Doomsday.
Mhm.
Dr. Doom, man. And God, you're and then it gets everyone hype again for Marvel. You pair that with Deadpool and Wolverine coming off of Loki season 2. RDJ is back. The Russos are back.
Mhm.
This is them going back to what worked. And they need that right now.
New Captain America's looking good.
I'm
Yeah.
excited for
Harrison
that.
Ford is. Come on, man. Yeah.
Introducing adamantium through the
Right.
celestial. That's see, I was right about that, right? See,
Yeah.
yeah. So we'll see, man. We'll see. I'm excited.
There's an
but-
episode. Just super quick. There's an episode of Avengers Assemble, the animated series on Disney. It's on Disney Plus.
Love
now.
that show.
So okay, there's an episode where it's in the second season, maybe, where first or second season, where Thor has been away and he comes back to Earth, and Doctor Doom has taken over the whole world, and the Avengers are the bad guys. And so that's the first thing, one of the first things I thought of too. So watch that episode. Can't remember what it's called, but yeah, I agree. I'm super excited. Jacob, get on board. Come on.
And will he be in the Fantastic Four movie? Who knows? Maybe
Post-credits.
he's Doctor Doom in there.
Post credits.
By the way, here's concept art of Fantastic Four, the movie, futuristic 60s,
New York.
alternate universe. Yep, looks badass. There's a lot of stuff on social media, guys. Check it out. We're gonna wrap it up here. That'll do it for our Deadpool and Wolverine discussion and Comic-Con. Thanks for hanging out with us. That's badass. Hey, there it is, right
Yeah,
there.
I had to take
That
it
is
out, but yeah.
awesome.
Is it heavy?
Thank you.
It's pretty hefty. Yeah, I got to put some batteries in it though. It lights up and
Does
everything.
it light up
yeah.
or make noise or anything?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Mhm.
That's so badass. Stardrew, Booze, Rachel,
Yes.
Jake, thank you
Jake.
guys so much
Thanks, man.
hanging out with us. We appreciate it. Jacob, good to see you again. Glad
Of
you're
course.
back. Keith, good to see you. And that'll do it. Until next week.